I'm Catherine. I work as a sex educator and a sales associate at Self-Serve. We're here today and we're going to talk about what is kink. So, kink is a word that is used to stand for a whole bunch of different things that people can do to have fun between themselves, sometimes in a sexual manner, involving genitals and other things, but sometimes as in a sensual manner involving the entire rest of their bodies. In terms of sex, kink can be just about anything that doesn't really fall into the biblical definition of sex. So sometimes people will even put oral sex in the category of kink, even though a lot of us perform oral sex and receive oral sex. And because it doesn't fall into that sort of missionary style intercourse kind of view of sex and sexuality. The bottom line is, on a personal level, if you think it's kinky for you, then it probably is. Another term that people use to describe kinky sex is BDSM. That started out as a web term, and it was meant to replace an older term called S&M. Now, S&M stood for sadism and masochism, which means people who like to give pain and people who like to receive pain. But it was realized that that was a really narrow concept of what people like to do in this genre. BDSM stands for bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, and sadism and masochism. That's still a fairly narrow definition because there are lots of things that fall into this category, but it's better than it used to be. So things that might fall into this category are people who like to get spanked or hit with objects, people who like to do those things, people who like to be tied up or tie other people up or bind them in some manner, people who like to pretend they're animals in some ways, people who like to follow orders or give orders or have someone be submissive or have someone be dominant over them, that kind of stuff. So what makes this stuff different from abuse? You might have heard in there, like, sometimes, you know, it's about people who like pain or people who like getting hit or people who like doing those things to other people. Well, what makes it different is that abuse is not consensual. So whenever we're practicing something kinky, we have to have really, really clear intentions and really clearly have consent from everybody who's participating or watching or anything like that. And I don't mean like consent like, yeah, sure, I guess I could try that if you want to. I mean consent like, yeah, I want to do that. Let's try it. That kind of consent. So as I said before, there's a lot of differences in people who like kinky things. You don't have to like one thing to be into another thing. And we really support your desires here at Self-Serve. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in or call. We're happy to speak with you. And have fun out there.